must and will go through. So the birth ceremony. So this might not be applicable to a lot, Balyan only applicable, but what the aim is, ki is workshop though, the Sangat here learns about it, and it's because this is something that we just created last month. It's funny because Janam Sanskar, jere Panch Sanskar Guru Sahib ne bakshe ya, it has been there, it has been in the Taksal Sampradaya for all this while, but as Sikh, even myself, I'm guilty about it, I didn't know. मैंने कुछ नहीं पता सी until I myself got pregnant. ते ओ मन दे विच ख्याल आया भी wait, now I'm going to become a mother, I'm going to have a child, so it's not my Sikhi now, because I mean we can take care of our own Sikhi anyway. I'm not trying to say that Guru Sahib is not there, but we know ਅਸੀਂ ਨਿਤਨੇਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ, ਪਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ, ਸੰਗਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਣਾ. But now ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ first time now you're going to train and you're going to help a new person to come into Sikhi, and I was lost. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀ. And then so मैं अपने husband ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਵੀ okay, is there anything we need to do, like, prepare ourselves, like, spiritually, and he said, yeah, actually, in our Sampradaya, we have all this, like, guidelines. And I said, how come we didn't know about it? And if, we doing Parchar didn't know about it, imagine the Aam Sangat. So what we did was that we got it translated. So this is basically, it's almost, every sentence translation from the guideline, and this is very general across the border of the whole worldwide Sikh Panth. So it's a Sikhi guide through pregnancy. I feel it's very important because hona jere se buzurga, when we have daughters or members of family, our daughter-in-law who are pregnant, even our sons as well, right? So it's very important to educate. So Paramatma, when we read Mool Mantar, we say Karta Purk. Karta. Karta means the creator. But Guru Sahib has given us the ability कि साडे विच we have that value of Karta, where we are creating, bringing a new soul into this world, right? So which is a very big seva. It's a very big seva which we take it very lightly when we bring a new soul into this world. So the ability where Guru Sahib protects and nurtures the whole world, that ability, that virtue, Guru Sahib has also given to us as fathers and mothers to also nurture and bring a new soul into this world and train them, guide them to become a Gursik as well. So now we look at when we are bringing a new soul into this world, parents de virtue kere hone chahide ne. So what are the virtues that we must have as parents, as mother, as fathers, when we want to bring a soul into this world? Gurbani ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਏ ਪੁੱਛੋ ਸੁਹਾਗਣੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਾਵਿਆ ਕਿਨੀ ਗੁਣੀ. So Gurbani, you see, is very interesting because a lot of in Gurbani is question and answer. भी काम किया, क्रोध किया, ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛੇ, depression किया, anxiety किया. We think about it, नहीं गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी नहीं लिखਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ, but actually a lot of these things are in Gurbani. So ਜਾਏ ਪੁੱਛੋ, how, the question is, how can I make Paramatma happy? How can I make my Guru happy? And Jai Pucho Suhagani. So I go and ask the Suhagan. Suhagan kon hunde ne? The happy soul brides. So now why soul brides? So if we look at this whole creation, Hana, Gurbani says, is jag mein, in this jag, in this world, Purakh ek hai. There's only one Purakh, one male entity, which is Akal Purakh Vaheguru. Hor Sagli Nar Sabai. Hor, everything else you see here, male, female, tree, whatever it is, Sagli Nar Sabai. Everyone else in this world is Nar, means wife to that Akal Purakh. So, ideally, we call ourselves soul brides. You can be a man, a woman, a child, and so on. Asi Paramatma, there's soul brides. And it's very interesting because why? I wanted to mention this yesterday in the women's workshop. But we, physically being born as a woman, having the nature of a woman, the woman's nature, makes it even easier for us to connect to Akal Purakh Vaheguru. For men, for example, they already have the masculine nature. They have to first shift their mentality to have the soul bride mentality, then have to connect to Paramatma. So in a way, for us as women, that connection is already kind of direct. So Jai Pucha Sohagni Tusi Ravya Kini Guni, what guna that you have in you to make Paramatma happy? Sahaj Santok Sigarya. Sigar means adorn yourself with Sahaj. Sahaj means that contentment avastha. Sahaj avastha is, when you look at an ocean, there's waves, ups and down, it is very turbulent. And that up and down is like our life, which is full of sukha, which is up, and dukkha, when the water goes down. But Sahaj avastha is when you go deep down into the ocean. It's the same ocean, but when you go deep down, the water is just still. It's calm. Even despite on the surface, there's like so much of ups and downs happening. Sahaj avastha is that, where you realize that deep down, what your nature is, that you are Atma Sarup, and you're not affected by the sukha and dukkha. Santokha. You're happy and content with wherever you are right now. Be je sukh deda tujhe aradi, dukh bhi tujhe te aaye. So, mitha bolani. Sweet speech. Be apne kam de vich vi mithapan, bolan de vich vi mithapan, soch de vich vi mithapan. Be, this teaches us the value of hukam. You see, where do we get dukkha from? Question for the Sangaji. Sanu dukkha kitthon milda hai? Yes, very good. Dukkha arises from expectations. And if you trace back, expectation arises from when we start having attachment. So for example, a mother is attached to a child, and I look at the child and I know, because I have a certain knowledge in my mind, my certain buddhi, intellect in my mind, that a child must be able to do this, by 12 must eat lunch, by 2:30 must drink dodha, fir sona ya fir drink. But what if the child doesn't do that? But it's my expectation. And the child is not doing that. What happens to me? I get upset. Why are you not listening to me? Kyun nahi tu gal sunde? I karna. Then a lot of emotion come up and so on. Same thing even with the world as well. We have certain expectations from friends. We have certain expectations from our partners. And when those expectations are not met, although fair misunderstanding, arguments, dukkha, a lot of that comes up. So, Guru Sahib says now, ki both parents which gun hone chahide ya. Jere guna, yesterday I spoke about in the katha, we have panch chor within this body, hiding and trying to loot our treasure. The panch guna, Sat, Santok, Daya, Taram, Sacha. Sometimes in Gurbani comes Sat, Santok, Daya, Taram, Tiraj as well, patience as well. So these guna are the qualities of Vaheguru, which Guru Sahib says we must bring within us. Okay? So what happens now? Now, Sada Nandakaraj ho gaya, and we get the good news ki, we are going to become parents. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is Paramatma de agge ardas karniya. Ki Sache Pacha, thank you, that you have given us this blessing, that we have this power in us, this ability in us to bring a new soul into this world. So what happens then is ardas karke Hukamnama Sahib lo. Now that Hukamnama Sahib is very important. I'll tell you, okay, very personal, and we are live now. I think we'll save it for later. But Hukamnama Sahib is very, very important, because that will tell us what kind of journey is it going to be ahead of us right now, that whole pregnancy period. And I've faced it first-hand experience. So Gurbani says as well, Guru Amar Das Ji says as well, Maat garab mein apan simrande tay tum rakhan hare. The pregnancy for 9 months is not easy. It's one of the toughest things that a person has to go through. A living being has to go through, And so the child is in the mother's womb. It's very hot. Putha lamkaya hoya, upside down and in water for 9 months. What is sustaining that child? What is sustaining that soul in that mother's womb is Simran. That connection that the child has with Vaheguru. Us vele, whatever the parents do will affect the kind of behavior the child will have in the womb. We take it for granted. Si kehne nahi, enjoy karo, kuch bhi karo, jado the child is born, appa dekhi jaoge, Actually, the education starts itself when the child is in the womb. So we have to start a spiritual routine. So for the parents, it's very important ki spiritual routine start karna hai. So you have to start reciting Shabads, which I will share. What are the Shabads? And Gurbani. Daily, not just once in a while, but daily. A routine honi chahiye on top of your own routine. So parents might have their own routine of Nityanem Baniya or Sukhmani Sahib or Sahaj Path. But this routine now is for the new soul that's coming. Okay? So first one is Mool Mantar Jap, because Mool Mantar is the greatest mantar that we have that Guru Sahib has blessed us with. Okay? Entirely up to you. किन्ने तुसी करने हैं, some can do maybe 100, 200, 650, up to you how much you want to do. And very important, Japji Sahib di Bani, because Japji Sahib Bani is the Bani to Brahm Gyan. Okay? If we look at Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the beej, the seed of Guru Granth Sahib Ji is Ek Oankar. The beej mantra assi ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ. Ek Oankar, when we open up Ek Oankar, we get Mool Mantar. Mool Mantar is the Khulasa, the understanding of Ek Oankar. Then Mool Mantar nu samjhana, the understanding of Mool Mantar is our Mala Mantar, which is Japji Sahib. Now to understand Japji Sahib, if you have listened to Katha of Japji Sahib, there's not one Katha, there's not two, there's multiple Kathas of Japji Sahib, multiple Artha of Japji Sahib. Sant Gurbachan Singh Ji, they have done, there's one Pankti and they have done 64 translation of just that one Pankti. Different ways that we can interpret Gurbani. The understanding of Japji Sahib is the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. That's how deep it is, just to understand. So Japji Sahib Di Bani, when we look at Amrit Sanchar, for example, Japji Sahib Bani is towards Brahm Gyan. It helps us to achieve Brahm Gyan. Jap Sahib Bani is for us to do praise of Akal Purakh Vaheguru. Okay? And to remember how great Paramatma is. To Prasad Savaiye, this helps us to destroy Pakhanda. So in To Prasad Savaiye, Guru Govind Singh Ji speaks to these kings and say that you might have elephants and horses, you're doing all of these things, but Jin prem kyo tinhi par payo. The mool is jinane prem kita ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਰੱਬ ਮਿਲਿਆ. Then Chaupai Sahib is for protection. And Ananda Sahib is Sukh da Kar, to get Ananda within us. So the first thing, the routine we must have is Mool Mantar Jap. And this is not just limited to mothers. Both father and mother must. But on top of that, even if the family members want to do extra for the soul, even better. Second is Japji Sahib da part. So, you can't even see. Oh, this is my mistake. So, Baniya to read when we are pregnant. Okay? This is for protection of the soul. This Bani, this Shabad is Sir Mastaka Rakhya Par Brahmang Hastikaya Rakhya Paramesar hai. So this Shabad, we can't see here because it's Romanized already. Par je tusi I Gurbani app te find karo, you can find. Sir Mastaka Rakhya Par Brahmang. So the best is je memorize kar sakde is even better. Fir torde firde nu tusi recite kar sakde. Okay? Second one is Bilawal Mahalla Panjwa Tati Vav na lagai Par Brahmang Sarnai. Okay, so why this Bani is for protection of the soul, the child, and also the mother as well. Bhi koi vigan na aave bacche nu. So kinne ho gaya, Mool Mantar ho gaya, Japji Sahib ho gaya, te e Shabad Sir Mastak te Tati Vav na lagai. Te tija Shabad is Satgur Sache Diya Page. Now this Shabad is very special. This Shabad was recited by Guru Arjan Dev Ji when Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji was born. So if we know the itihas, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji's birth was not an easy one. First of all, Mata Ganga Ji, she wanted a child, and there were many things she had to do just to get the boon of a child. Guru Arjan Dev Ji called Gaye, and Guru Sahib said, I cannot give you a child, and you have to go to Baba Buddha Ji to ask for this daat. She goes to Baba Buddha Ji, she goes the first time, Babaji was not happy. Then she goes again the second time with utmost humility. Then Babaji gives the boon that a Surma will be born in your house. But when Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji was born, Prithi Chanda, who was the brother of Guruji, and his wife, they tried many ways to kill Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. The supper, poison, dodha, many ways. But again, with Guru Sahib's kirpa, the child was protected. So this is when Guru Arjan Dev Ji recited this Shabad, Sadgur Sache Diya Page. So this Shabad is, what are we trying to say is, ka Sache Pacha, Sadgur Sache Diya Page, means you are sending such a soul into this world through us, which will serve to become a Gursik in this world. Now, it does matter what kind of soul we bring into this world. It does matter. Tusi hona jime, you look at the western side of this world, and you see even in the eastern side as well, there's so many bache who are not agyakari, who don't even respect their parents anymore. Bache choti umar de veche maa piyo nu chhad ke chale jante ya. They don't maa piyo nu nursing home veche chhad dende ya, or they don't even care about them. What went wrong? because there are foundation. See, our foundation is set nahi hoya. Okay? So the soul that comes into this world, you must understand. The unseen realm, jara si dekh nahi sakde, I was speaking to her, the unditi dunya, there are many souls waiting to come into this world. Why? Because only in human form, manukha jeevan de vich hi sanu mukti mil sakdi hai. Not in other June. Only in the human birth we can get mukti. So there are many souls out there who are just waiting to come into this world, become a human. In the mind, they have this mentality ki asi mukti leni hai, but the moment we come into this world, they forget everything. Because why? Maya ho gaya, Maya da parva ho gaya. You enjoy life and this and that, YOLO, you only live once. Enjoy your life, die, and then, I missed it. So I have to come back again. So all of us is the same. We are all in the same cycle. It's just that now we have completely forgotten why we were here. But the child in the mother's womb, they have made this promise to Paramatma that I'm coming into this world to go back to you, to become one with you. So that 9 months, if is mat garab mein aapan simran de tay tum rakhan hare. The soul is connected to Vaheguru. Okay? So now, preparing your home for your baby, for your child. Even now, even for your children as well. Chote bacche hona, ja tuade bacche de bacche hona. You need to prepare your home. Ek our body home prepare kar liya, ek physical home as well. We take things very lightly that our environment does not affect our child. School jao. Teachers will try their very best to decorate the classroom so the child is so interested to come to the classroom and looks at the colorful paintings and pictures and ABCD. They don't just, ABCD. You have to draw what apples and so on to attract the child. Similarly, in your house as well, you should have Gurbani jap happening at home. We take it very lightly. To see aap paath nahi kar sakde, now we can get Gurbani radios that there's part of Guru Granth Sahib Ji happening on the loop. It's just happening every 3 days. A new Akhand part will start, new part will start. Kirtan laya karo, kar de, living room de vich vi, apne your own room, even at night when you're sleeping, have Guru Mantar jap going on in the background. Okay? So what do you do in your house? Whatever you watch, this is scientifically proven as well. Now, whatever you watch as you're pregnant and you're conceiving will affect the child. So, what they do is they put headphones on the womb, with calming music or jazz music, bhi bacha sunuga. Then when the child is born, when they hear the same music, they recognize that sound because why? They heard it in the womb. So imagine if you do the same thing with Simran or with Kirtan. Then when they come out, they're like, oh wait, I recognize this sound. I recognize this Simran, So, throughout your house, some people might not believe it. Some people don't believe in pictures of Guru Sahib or pictures in Guru Sikhs. That's completely fine. But if you are okay with it, you want to have pictures of Guru Sahib, put them up. Pictures of the Char Sahibzade, pictures of great Guru Sikhs, pictures of Guru Sahib, and prepare your home environment around it. So now your child is going to come into the world. So Sama aa gaya, 9 months pregnancy, you have been doing your job. Oh, and one more thing as well. When you know that you're pregnant and you're going to bring a new life in this world, you must start a Sahaj part for the child, for the bacha, for the, your baby. That Sahaj part, the moment you find out, Sahaj part shuru karo. Best thing is to see aap karo. You do it yourself. But je thwade kol nahi hunda, you cannot do it, you got no time, you're working, or you do not know how to read Gurmukhi. Then come to the Gurdwara. Remember we did the Ardas and Hukamnama? Tell the Gyani Ji ki asi Sahaj part shuru karna hai. But the criteria is, not Gyani Ji does the Sahaj part and then you only count during the Pog. Because why? It's a practice now amongst all of us. It's everywhere. That Sahaj part tar liya and then you go back, let Gyani Ji do their thing and then you only come during the Pog. You just give them money and you think that, no. It's not about a trading system. We paise do and Bani da phal to dekol aajuga. Shayad. But the whole essence of reading Bani from Guru Granth Sahib is to see aap kanna dena sorna ya. And you are having this conversation, this understanding while the Bani is being read. Okay, Guru Sahib aa kende ya. This is what happening. This is what my mental state is right now. And you're having a conversation and understanding what Guruji is telling you. So, Sahaj part kitna karna hai? You do it yourself, it's fine. But if Gyani Ji is doing, set a routine. Ki Gyani Ji, I will come after work, maybe 6 to 8 or 7 to 8. And we will listen to the part. You recite it, assi beh ke sunange. You have to do that. Because why? Tusi sunde hai, thoda bachcha bhi sunda hai. Your child is also listening. So, Now the day has come where your child is going to be born. So again, ideal situation is like either you do a home birth, ja to see hospital jaake natural birth, or a C-section. There are many situations, right? When you know that the time is going to come, of course the doctors or the nurses will tell you to do breathing to calm down, right? So one way you can do that is have Simran playing on in the background. So now hospitals are very accommodating. I mean, Malaysia was quite nice, but I gave birth during COVID. So it was a lot of things we had to like adjust. And Guru Sahib's Kirpa, I had a Gursikh doctor with me. So we had a leeway line between. So you can have Gurbani Simran playing in the background, and your husband or your family is there to support you. Hana? So you're at the same time, because Simran is very calming anyways, right? So when your child is born, naturally, lasi, kiddavi, the doctor will ask you to see your child first, unless it's an emergency and your child is not well and so on. Jero tusi apne bacche nu dekhoge, whoever is going to greet their child, first thing you need to do is to say Fateh. Tusi aa gaya, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. The first word the child hears upon coming to this world is Vaheguru. So, this is one practice that the Muslim community do very well. If you have seen, you would see videos on YouTube as well. They carry the child, maybe the qazi or the ustad or even the father. They'll carry the child, and in the ear, they will do Simran. Their Muslim Simran they will do. And this is something actually, in Sikhi we do. So, pasanu pata nahi. Bring the child to the ear, father hove, of course, or, in case father is not there, any Gursikh is there with the mother. Bring the child to the ear and do Gurbani Simran. Because, of course, the doctors will let you see the child for a minute or two. Vaheguru da jaap karo kanna de vich. Experiment karke dekho. Maybe there are many babies now in Singapore and all. Carry a child, a baby, and do Simran, and see how the baby's body becomes like a stone, a patthar. They don't move at all. So we have experimented in Malaysia, my husband just carry and do Vaheguru, Vaheguru. And the child is just staring at one place and not moving at all. Kyun? Live judi hui hai. The soft spot on top of the child's head, the doctor says, you must protect the head, Have you ever questioned what spot? Why is that the only skull, the bone, which is not formed, which is right on top of the head? We might think that, is this a skull and all that. But it's so interesting because Guru Sahib speaks about the concept of Dasam Dwar. Dasam Dwar in 9 darwaje, 9 gates on our body, 9 darwaje pargat kiye. Dasma Gupta rakhaya. The 10th door is Gupta. And that's the only part of our head which is wide open when the child is born. Which means the connection is still there. And then Guru Amar Das Ji is so great, and they say, ki Mata ke gar mein pritpal kare, so kyo mano visare, right? In the mother's womb, the child is connected. When the child is born, Guru Amar Das Ji says, liver shudki lagi trisna. The liver connection is broken. Because why? Pehla ise kehte ne, badanya, we make so much of chaos around the child. And when we say, I'm going to come in a little bit as well, about the 40 days as well. There's significance to every little thing that we practice in our pantha. So the first thing your child must hear is Vaheguru. Gurbani Simran karo. And then it was funny, when Rasayan was born, so Palvinder Singh was nicely, mine was a C-section delivery. And so Palvinder Singh was doing Simran, and he nicely did Mool Mantar, and the pediatrician is there in the ward, and then the doctor comes to me and said, I think it's time to bring your baby. I was like, Palvinder Singh, bas kar. And I was like, okay. But it was just so calm. She wasn't crying, she was just listening, only, as if like, when you go into Darbar and there's like really strong energy in the Darbar and you're like so connected, but your stomach is hungry now, you have to go to Langar Hall to eat. And you're like, what, don't talk to me, guys. I just want to Vaheguru in my heart. That same energy, the child has come out, but the same energy is still there. So basically now the baby has gone to the nursery. They're going to wash the baby, clean the baby and so on. So what happens now is that you're bringing brought to the ward, or the home birth hove and so on. You're cleaning up yourself. One Gursikh, either your husband, or if not, your husband is not a Amritari Gursikh, maybe another Amritari Gursikh prepares for Janam Sanskar. So Janam Sanskar is very important. Okay, this is basically initiating the child into the Sikh Pantha. Okay, so Janam Sanskar must be done by Amritari Singh. And the Amrit, let's say it's a very, you have time, you can prepare it beforehand. if you cannot go to the hospital and prepare it, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਘਰੇ prepare ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, put it in a bottle, but bring the batta with you. It must be prepared in serbolo batta and karpan, serbolo karpan. Okay? So for example, what my husband did was, while I was in the ward, she was in the nursery, kanta sigan between. So he just, Veer asan position, Benji would also know, Veer asan position, and you prepare the the gurti, we call it the gurti. So pani, a bit of water, inna we need, don't wanna, because what happens is the amrit 5 boond is given to the child through karpan, the rest the mother drinks. So don't one whole 500 ml water, mother cannot finish everything. Inna thora, adda glass is fine, half a glass is fine. Put 1 patasa in, 2 patasa is up to you. And in the serbolo batta, you don't have serbolo batta, fine, on every gurdwara must have serbolo batte and karpanna or khanda, because why amar sanchars are happening. So get a serbolo batta and put a bit of pani inside, put the patasa, and as you're reciting Japji Sahib, stir the gurti. You must recite Japji Sahib the bani. Again, first bani, okay? So ardas, before you start doing ardas ki sache pacha, I'm going to prepare the gurti. Please bless me and allow me to do this. Gurti is prepared, Japji Sahib is done, slow, Pavan Guru Panipata completed. Stand up with the gurti and the singer will do ardas again. Ki Sache Pacha, gurti is now prepared. Allow me to, initiate or give this gurti to the child and the mother. So again, this is an ideal case ki the child is healthy, the mother is healthy, there's no complication. So before giving the child milk, because the nurses will tell you, okay, now it's time to feed your baby. Before you give milk to the baby, you must give this gurti to the child. Pehla amrit pee ke, fir bachche nu dudh dena hai. In scenarios where the child is, there's complication, it's fine as long after the child comes out from the, complication or ICU or whatsoever. When you have the time, you must prepare gurti again. Okay? Like, even let's say, okay, there are situations where the child was unhealthy, was in NICU for a week. So we told the parents, it's fine. Focus on the health first. Once everything is done, bacha, out of danger, then you can prepare the gurti and give the child. Okay? So how to prepare gurti? Again, very simple. Prepare your batta, karpan, pani, patase, amritari sing only. Then, do an ardas before. Put all the ingredients in. Veer asan, read Japji Sahib and stir. Once done, do an ardas for completion, and then administer 5 boon through the karpan into the baby's mouth. The baby will happily drink, because mitha and nale gurbani andar. Happily will drink. The rest must be finished by the mother. Mother must finish the whole of the gurti. Then now the child can drink milk. So now the Janam Sanskar has been done. So what happens now is, if you have Guru Maharaj Swarup at home, when the mother comes home, you will do an ardas ki sache pacha, thank you, now the child is born already, and you will take a hukamnama. In the ardas you say, now please bless us to give a name to this child. You see, naming ceremony is very important as well. Many a times now, even in Amrit Sanchar, they will ask, was your name taken from Guru Granth Sahib Ji? If you don't remember or the answer is no, the Panch Pyare will give you a name. Because why? It was not taken from Guru Granth Sahib Ji earlier. So your name must be taken from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So whatever hukamnama, for example, Ichha Puraka Sarva Sukha Data Hara. So the first alphabet, Edi, your name will be chosen from there. Okay? So names also, sometimes you don't know what names. The best guide is Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You scroll through dictionary. We have so many dictionaries. Scroll through dictionary, what names? For my daughter's name, Rasayan, took my husband 1 week. I didn't bother finding it. I was too busy taking care of myself and her. So he was like, Narakli. I was like, no, Narakli, no. Suddenly one day I came out from the room and he goes like, Rasayan. And I said, nice. What does it mean? So because we have dictionaries at home, where, every word in Gurubani, what does it mean and all. So anyways, the name must reflect virtue of Vaheguru. Okay? So it's very important for the naming ceremony is very important. Okay, the first 40 days of life. So remember the Saj part you started while you were during the pregnancy, that Saj part must complete before the child is born. Ideally, unless there's some complication. So best to complete by the 7th month or the 8th month. So because by then, cannot sit down already. You're so heavily pregnant, you know. I remember I was so late and I had no choice because we were doing Saj Part ourselves and I couldn't sit down Chongkri Marke. So I had to sit on the chair, elevate the Senchi side on the stand, and then I had to do my Saj Part. So from my experience, what I'm trying to say is do it earlier, finish it off earlier. It's much easier. So now, child is born and you have the 40 days. Ajikal hona mande ni, people like my generation were like, what la confinement period, no need la, you know. But actually it's very essential, you know. Te our buzurgas ona nu pata ho vi 40 days kyon tusi kare rehne a. Why? Is because it's a time for you to recuperate, you know, get your energy back and connect with your child. Imagine if the first day itself, puri barat, 100 people come and say, badaya. What happens is, your peace is disrupted and the child who is still connected to Guru Sahib, still connected to Vaheguru, that child also is disrupted, their concentration. So you want the least disruption as possible. You know, let the child, because now, if you observe, at least for 1 month, the baby's eyes are still closed. They just open a bit, go back to sleep. You know? So very less information is going through the eyes and the ears, very less. So what happens in the first 40 days is, as you're taking care of yourself and the baby, you're eating healthy food, there must be another Saj Part. So you know when you tara your name for the baby, at that point in the Ardas, asking for name, second thing ki Sache Pasha, ek hor Saj Part tarna hai. That Saj Part must be completed within the 40 days. Must be completed. So it's very easy if you can do even like 20 to 30 anga per day, you know. So again, same thing. If you can't do it yourself at home, you go to the Gurdwara and every day, you know, you can go, maybe a set time where you, your husband, your baby goes to the Gurdwara and just the three of you, you know, listen to the part and come back home. Okay? So people who want to come and visit, I know it's very difficult. You know, you want to set boundaries, but you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It was very difficult. But I was very strict. I was like, no visitors. Not even, even my immediate family, you know, they were very understanding. So, because why? Our hormones are up and down, you know. We get upset and angry. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, right? So tell your family members beforehand, look, I know everybody's excited, it's the first baby or, you know, second baby, whatever baby. And, but please understand, if you do want to come and visit, these are the only times. And what must you do is, the person coming, I need to, unnecessary things. The child eyes are so blurred, they cannot even see you. They cannot see you for the first, like, you know, few months. The child's eyesight is very blurred. So the only thing you can do is, do Simran in their ears. Vaheguru, Mool Mantar Jaap karo, Simran karo, put the baby back and tusi gallan batan karo with the mother, with the father and so on. Okay? So because Gurbani says, Jatis Pana, Guru Madaji, Jatis Pana ta jammea, Parvar pala paya. The Parvar is so happy because jammea, the child is born because of the Pana, Hukam of Vaheguru. But, live shurki lagi trisna, Maya amar vartaya. But the Parvar is so happy, but the Parvar themselves, look at how much we are destroying our own child's life. How? Live shurki. Because of our own enjoyment and our own fun, we have caused the concentration of the child with Vaheguru to break by all this rola rappa and parties and shor sharabba and so on. Hana? So at least 40 days. Let your child enjoy. You will realize after the 1 month period, the child will start opening eyes. Because now you'll recognize, oh, this is my mother's voice. This is my father's voice. This is some Gurbani part going on and so on. So the first year, even then, the soft spot here, it takes about 1.5 years for that soft spot on top to close. Okay? So, in the first year, your child will observe you. Bacha tonu dekhda ya, tonu sunda ya, tusi kiddan bolde, how do you speak, how do you behave, how do you interact with other people, and the child picks up a lot from you. So, within the first year, start incorporating Sikhi values. Whatever you are doing, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਦੇ, get your child to go with you as well. Okay? Gurdware janne hai, sometimes we are scared, oh, bacha is this is the kind of thought. I'm a new mother, right? So this kind of thought I had as well. My child might be disruptive in the Gurdwara, you know, running around and all that. Then I was thinking to myself, But that's their nature. They're very playful. And if we don't bring them into Sangat, how are they going to learn what Sangat is, right? And so then that's only then they will learn, oh, there's something called Matha Tekana, Hath Jod, Fateh Bilao, So, and a repetition. Every day you must repeat, like how we teach them. Every day repeat ABCD, ABCD. Same thing with Sikhi values as well. So, jithe tusi bachya nu, ajika, of course, we have no choice, but we have YouTube channel and cartoons for our kids, where you're going to show them like English cartoons and so on. It's not wrong, you can. I mean, I do that. I miss Rachel from my daughter, So, but show them Sikhi ones as well. There's so many now, a lot of like broad spectrum from young children to, teenagers to older children. Sikhi cartoons, Sikhi, very Sikhi nursery rhymes. There's so many of that. Oh, the cow, oh, Sikhao and Nanu. Sikhi books. Now, when we talk about books as well, so far now we only have Sikhi books that you can get from UK, from US. Here even, in fact, I saw in the stalls yesterday in the bazaar that they are selling as well, right? So get them, show them pictures of Guru Sahib. Now we have this practice case. Sadekare, we have Guru Gobind Singh's picture, we have Guru Sahib's Swaroop, we have Char Sahib's picture and Baba Deep Singh Ji. So I'll go to Guruji's picture and say Fateh Bilao. Then I'll say Fateh Bilao. Then Baba Deep Singh Ji's one will purposely say Bole Sonihal Sat Sri Akal. So she knows Jakara, Fateh Bilawni and so on, Matha Tekna. Very little things that we think that koi na badde ho ke sikh lenge, but actually they pick up very fast in the first year itself. So the second sanskar, which is very related to Janam sanskar, which we tend to forget, is Vidya sanskar. Vidya means education, Gurmat education. When the child is about Hona, I found out from Penji as well, 18 months already the child is sent to nursery here in Singapore, right? And it's common because that's the time where they are very active and they want to, be physical and they want to learn and so on. So as you're sending them to nursery as well, there's a lot of uprala here in the Gurdwara for children, like young Bahadur Bache, little Bahadur Bache, mighty Khalsa, then your Bahadur Bache, send them as much as you can. Because onna di sangat hogi. They will see other children and they will learn, they will interact with them as well. So, second thing is, Vidya Sanskar, you must teach your children Gurmukhi. One big mistake we make as parents is that koi na badde ho ke sikh lange. Badde ho ke assi sikhe. Cannot, no time. I can't learn now myself, but because of the Sikhya, the Vidya Sanskar that was given to me when I was young, every Sunday, nahi, jana pehna. Of course, the child said, man, he padna, why? But because they don't know, onna no nahi pata, we know how important it is, right? So send them for Gurmat classes, Punjabi classes, Santhya, Vajja, Tabla. They make so much of fuss, don't care. But when they come to like our age, 20s, then they'll realize, you know what? Is important, it was important, and I'm grateful that my parents sent me then. Because they pick up very fast at very young ages, Gurmukhi and all. There are children, like in Malaysia, my husband, he did a Khandapat role at the age of 12 years old. 12 years old, and they had children a Khandapat role. So of course, it didn't take them 48 hours, 2 days. I mean, that's like 60 anga per hour, cannot. It took them, I think, 3 days. So only children who completed their Santhya, they did the Akhandapat. And parents and Buzurga, they just patiently waited and listened to the part. Because why? It was a sight to be seen that children are doing Akhandapat role. But now, now we can't even get parties anymore. Cannot get parties. Very difficult, right? I think COVID time, I'm not sure about here, but Malaysia was severely hit. We couldn't get parties for Akhandapat role. Imagine this is the situation now. What will happen in 10, 20 years to come? Right? So, pata kyo Sangaji? Yes, the worldly education is very important. No choice. It's a competitive world right now. Everywhere. So, as that side, it will always be covered. You always have extra classes. You always have like enrichment classes. Always, all the time. But when it comes to Gurmat Vidya, somehow we are quite limited in terms of resources. So, chote hunde to hi bachya nu bhejo tusi, sikhao. Like, I've never learned Kirtan or Vajja. It was very difficult. So now when I'm trying to pick up, I have to literally like go back to being a child, like, sa, and so on. Very difficult because our mind, our brain has already become like stone. But young children is like sponge. They pick up very fast. Okay? So Gurmat education and worldly education side by side is very important. In the Ratnama as well, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, Gurmukhi akhar jo hai pai. गुरमुखी अखर जो है भाई सिंग सिंग ते सिखिया जाए. Every singer, every child, every Sikh must learn from another Sikh of learn what? Gurmukhi akhar, learn Santhya. Okay? So when it comes to Sikhi related materials, there are many here. Ideal for gift, buying presents for, our family, friends and so on. And so toys and books on one side, you have Nishani store, Mighty Khalsa, Saffron Press. There are amazing materials out there. Sometimes I think this is my shopping spree, that I'll always go and I'll start looking at what new stuff they have right now. And movies, cartoons, media, Nishani Plus, which is now Netflix, Sikh Netflix. It's subscription based, but you have like animations for children. You can have children channel. Then you can have parents as well. You can watch like kirtan, samagams, or movies and so on. And so there's many options here. And I don't think that there is a reason why we cannot bring them towards this side. What happens is when we have no choice कि ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਲਿਆਉਣੇ ਆ, we as parents, we might not have had that background when we were children. Our parents might not have brought us up this way because lack of resources. But we ourselves are learning at the same time. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਸਿੱਖਦੇ ਆ. There is no such thing ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰੋ, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਹੋਰ ਕੁਝ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਈਏ. No, because they will question, hey, how come, mommy, you're not doing? How come, daddy, you're not doing? And nowadays children, I like this from Penji. They'll listen, but they reason as well. They will reason. How come you're not doing? Then why am I supposed to? But we are sicker. If my parents are not doing, why am I forced to do it? So maybe now they will do it because they are being forced to do it. But jado badde honge, they'll say, no, my parents also never did what. They will let go of it. So the idea is we have to set an example to our children. The struggles we face actually is because we ourselves are not setting good examples to our children. Yes, of course, not every family is ideal. There are families where parents are not into Sikhi, but somehow the children have turned out to be Guru Sikhs. That has been a really good karam of that family, that they were meant to come into this family. They save themselves and they save the whole kolla. And there are some families as well, parents have done A to Z possible under the radar of Sikhi, but the children turn out to be complete opposite. Also, karam di khera. So what we discuss is the amount of effort we can put to try our best that our children grow up, they become Guru Sikhs. You know why we are putting this effort? Actually, it's for us lah. We are a bit selfish. You know why? If our children become Guru Sikhs and they become Brahmgyanis, they become saints and, they are liberated from this world. They themselves are not saved. Even the parents are saved. 21 generations of the family, because of that one child, is saved together. So what you're trying to do is, you're trying to save one soul, which is your child, but at the same time, you're trying to save yourself as well. So that's how amazing Sikhi is, कि तुसी अपने बच्चों ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਤਾਰੋ, पर आप भी तुसी तार जाओ, and then it's amazing to see that Guru Sahib has given us that opportunity to do that. So, of course, like for example, I think we can now maybe, we can off the live in a while, then we can at least have personal conversations. So, but that's what I wanted to speak about today, the foundation which is Janam Sanskar, very less spoken about. Because if we don't set this foundation, फिर बड़े होके बहुत सारे problems आएंगे. Then you would have this thought, कि I wish I had done it differently, I wish I had done it differently, So, now we are open to discussion, question answers, and personal sharing. And so, to all the Sangat, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Melvin has joined our team officially starting last month. Okay? So, yeah, there are certain things we can't share live because it's a bit more open. I personally prefer physical interaction rather than live. Live da pata nahi hunda, log ki sunde ya sutte pe uthe, And some people nowadays, happens that they'll take out of context and then it becomes very difficult. So I was sharing my personal experience regarding the hukam now when you first find out that you're conceiving, or anybody else, like, this is, let's say we have passed that journey already, but you know someone in your circle who's about to become parents. I've had 2 miscarriages before this 3rd pregnancy. So what happened was, the first one we were very excited, happy, because I'm a cancer survivor. So my doctor did tell me, again, my favorite Dr. Vijaya, I love him so much. He told me that there's an 80% chance you might not get pregnant because it will affect your ovaries and your eggs. And then he said, do you want to save your eggs? Like, bank cha rakhna hai, I was like, mere kole inne paise hai nahi, ho gaya, mare hukam vich appe ho jayega.